So while my crew is out looking for firewood and exploring, I thought I'd take a couple minutes to share with you how I've set up school for our big trip west. I found this big binder at a kind of like a knockoff store with lots of discount prices, but I think it's from like maybe Target originally. I love it, it's huge. So what it has inside is a bunch of ways I can organize. I have a file system right here, and then I have a whole bunch of worksheets that I've printed to be able to have our kids do at progressive times throughout our trip. So let me start first with all the files. So here you can see I have a whole bunch of books in here. Let me show you a couple things that I have. One thing that we do when it comes to all of our trips cross country is we carry a states book along with us. And this has stickers along with each state that's listed. And we can put in the state tree, the state flower, and the state bird. And we can also color in where the state is up here at the top. For example, here's Montana. We can put in information about that state and maybe significant people and what they did. So this page isn't very well done. There's a version for older kids and there's a version for younger kids. Here's an example of North Carolina that's a little bit more well filled out. You can kind of see some of the details that we've put in. Sometimes when we don't get to all the details, one trip, because maybe Shane was 6 or 7 when he started, now he's 8 and he can fill in more detail because there's more attention span. But we love to take this along with us wherever we go, whenever we go cross country. All right, so both boys have one of those. I don't have one for Selah yet, but I need to figure that out. Okay, next up I take an atlas. So in the atlas, we like to follow along where we're traveling, and we'll highlight it with a highlighter. See our route so far, and we're actually up past here now. We haven't done today's yet, but we'll go up into the route we're taking, and that way our kids can follow along and they can look back and see all the roads that they have traveled, which is a lot of fun in the future. All right, next I have for us, this is just an easy way to keep math going. For us, we use the Good and the Beautiful, and so for Levi, I brought along his mental math notebook. Now, I'm not bringing math pages and math sheets, but I just thought this would be fun because it requires nothing other than this little book, and then he can just check off whatever mental math he's doing. We also have logic puzzles and things like that along with us. So it's just a bunch of little things that we can do orally, and that's very helpful. All right, what else do we have? Oh, I brought this. So we are doing, all year, we've been studying birds. We like to focus in on an area of study. So we have been notebooking about birds. These are blank notebook journals from The Good and the Beautiful. The sun came out, it's really bright. So we like to take these and fill them out. And then I have this really handy book that's also from The Good and the Beautiful. Ooh, that got really bright really fast. And it can show you how to actually draw different birds. So we can look through and see what kind of fits what we have seen around, and then the kids can try to draw it. All right, so I brought that because I love doing journaling, like nature journaling while we're traveling, especially because we're going to different places and seeing new things that we're not used to. Like right behind me right now, we're in Alabama and we have rocks that the kids have been climbing all over, and it's just like more of a hilly, mountainous, not quite mountainous, but it's very hilly and very rocky, and then it has a lot of red soil. So it's just fun. It's different than what we're used to in South Florida. I did bring, for fun, a creative writing notebook. I don't know if we'll get to this or not, but I thought this might be really fun because of the places we're going and things we're seeing. Describe this scene. How would you describe these different scenes? And so maybe I can find something. It's not that I have to do the whole book in order, also from The Good and the Beautiful, but it's not like I have to do the whole book in order. I can just pick and choose as I want to here because it's specific to creative writing. So it's just different prompts that I can do. So that's fun for on the road, keeping our kids thinking that way. We do have a map up in our van, but I also brought this because it's you can use it with dry erase marker, and so our kids can actually practice the states, where the states are located, and their abbreviations, which is fantastic. The sun is bright. I wasn't expecting it to be so bright. One other little thing I carry in here is one of these little tablets. So we can do math problems on them. I can just write, hi, see, hi, and then I can erase it. It's like $5 at Target. It's really helpful. Just to be able to have a notepad to do math or to do writing or to just have fun and play with, so it's easily erasable. But those are what I carry in the portion with all the binder folders. Now when it comes to the binder part, what I do is I will create different categories, and I love to go onto teacherspayteachers.com and print out printables that will be associated with places we're going and the topics we're studying. So for example, on this trip we're studying things like the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, right? Those things together. We're going through Oklahoma, we're going through the Panhandle of Texas. We're going to be studying another topic like the native people for maybe Arizona, New Mexico, as well as Texas, and even here where we're at with the Cherokee, so the Apaches, the Cherokee. So we've been reading books all before we left, as well as have some on our trip, and so we're learning a lot about those indigenous native people. Along with that, we're planning to visit a number of national parks, and so because of that, we are bringing a whole bunch of things on national parks. I found so many free resources on teacherspayteachers.com. I should show you guys some of these. One thing was just a word search. This is just a fun word search. This is neat. Let me open this and show you guys some of these. These are all free on Teachers Pay Teachers. I love that. You can actually plot out where the national parks are. Isn't that fun? Isn't that cool? It's like a different kind of activity than you would do in your standard school, which is a lot of fun. And if my kids don't have the attention to do all of that, guess what? We don't do all of it, but they can do maybe just the locations that we're attending or visiting. So I printed these on teacherspayteachers.com for free, and I printed a whole bunch of them for all of the different national parks that we're going to be visiting. It's just a general template, but I love it because that way it gets my kids more engaged with the park itself and remembering details about each one. So for example, this one says location and geography, wildlife and flora, history and establishment, significant landmarks in this location, and ask some specific questions with them. Recreational activities, visitor information, conservation efforts, notable events and festivals, impact of tourism, personal reflections. So we're going to try and fill this out. It can be as much or as little as my kids are capable of or have attention for. That's fine. I don't need to have them doing exhaustive writing on this trip, but I do want them to record specific things that they remember or are interested in. It just helps with retention, and then it gives me something also to show my evaluator at the end of the year. But that way I can even put it into a states binder for them, which is really great because then they can go back to that in years, or even when they're adults someday, and they can say, hey, these are some of the distinctive features I remember about this park, let's go there again. So I just thought that would be fun. So I printed a whole bunch of those. For Selah, I actually made a different one though, because she's 5. This is the one I printed for her. So this is something that just has check boxes, and I can ask her these questions, and I can even have her fill it in with a colored pencil or highlighter, the little check boxes, and I can help her write these little things in, or maybe she can even write 1 or 2 words. That's okay. So it's a little bit less advanced for her age. All right, after just the general national parks, my next tab is specific national parks. So for example, here I have the different layers of the Grand Canyon that we're going to be talking about and studying, and I have each of these with a paper clip, and it's each park that we're visiting. So there's a variety of different pages to have them do for each park that we're visiting, for whatever I could find. So there's a whole pack for that. There's a whole pack for Joshua Tree, a whole pack for Death Valley. Let's see what else I have here. Kings Canyon National Park, Sequoia National Park, Zion National Park, so Great Sand Dunes National Park. So that's kind of what we have for the national parks. Now I also have, like I said, indigenous tribes that we're looking at. So I have some worksheets specifically on Trail of Tears here. This is just an artist that drew or created this artwork piece, and it divides it into 4 quadrants and makes them look at each quadrant and pick out the detail in it that's showing and highlighting some different things. So take 30 seconds to look over this picture, jot down anything you notice, study each quadrant, pay close attention to the detail. What do you notice now? So it brings in, it hones the detail instead of just being a broad, oh, there's a picture, which I really like that. And so we have a few other things with that. We're also hoping to go to see some petroglyphs. So I found a worksheet about petroglyphs. I thought that would be really fun, and they can actually create their own petroglyphs. And then I just have their individual names in the last 3 tabs so they can put their worksheets in with their names, and that way it's all organized and categorized. Now, what would a road trip be without having some great books to bring along? So I have a very small amount of books that I can bring. I have this box right here. I have just a little space of cubby in our camper van, but I have to be very selective and very intentional, therefore, about the books that we bring. So a couple of the ones that we did bring along are these discovery readers. We love these discovery or adventure books right here. They are so good, just with specific characters that are very, very adventurous and very relatable for the kids, especially the boys. So they like to read those on their own. All right, I also have some books that will be either the boys can read or I can read aloud. Wagons Over the Mountains, Kit Carson. Those ones, for example, we're going through the Rockies, and so they can really get a feel for what life would have been like living in the Rockies and even coming over on covered wagon. I am really looking forward to this book. I'm hoping to read this while we're in the Grand Canyon, maybe leading up to it a little bit too. Bridie of the Grand Canyon. This is a classic. Really excited to expose our kids to the setting where this book takes place and let them enjoy just soaking that in a little bit. All right. This one is called Easter Fires. This is actually about a native tribe in, I think it's New Mexico or Texas, that hears the gospel for the first time and how that really impacts them. So that's actually in Texas. I remember that's in Texas. Then I have other books about going over the Rockies as well. When mountain men trapped a beaver, when wagon trains rolled into Santa Fe. Let's see what we've got in here. Heroes of the Western Outposts. Oh, and this is fun. Grizzly Adams. That's another great one that's very adventurous for the boys. So they can read some of those on their own. I did bring Geronimo because that's a historical figure that's located, I think it's New Mexico, Arizona area. And so we'll see if that becomes a read aloud or if it becomes just them reading it on their own. And the Lost Lake Stories of the Texas Rangers. That'll be fun. Kit Carson and the Wild Frontier. When it comes to read alouds, there's two other ones that I'm really looking forward to. This one is Little Britches, and I'm actually hoping that Gary gets the opportunity to read this to the boys because it's very much about boys coming to age and moving into manhood. And so this would be a fantastic read aloud for Gary to share with the boys. And then this is Bud and Me. Now I'm a little apprehensive to read this one, not because I don't think it's going to be a fantastic book, but it's actually because I think my kids are going to probably latch on to this maybe a little too much. It's about a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old that live off the land all across America on their own. Oh my goodness. So I don't want my kids to think that they can live on their own yet, especially in the day and age we live in. But I love books like this because they do call our boys up to say, you know what, you are capable. And I think right now in our culture, our boys really need to know that they are capable and they can learn skills and develop character to be able to be resilient and to be useful and to figure things out. So I'm looking forward to that one. The last one that I have here is just a birds book. That's an identifier from National Geographic. This is really great because it helps us identify the birds that we're seeing all across the nation as we're traveling and learn a little bit about them. Because we've been doing a bird study for the whole year, we're really looking forward to learning more about birds outside of our local area in South Florida. And so I'm really excited to check these out. Honestly, we've actually already used this and we've really enjoyed looking up some of the birds. So I hope that helps you think through how can you actually design a little bit of a unit study for wherever you're traveling. Like I said, we have multiple themes that we're going down on this trip. We're going down the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. We're going down the Texas Rangers. We're going down the native tribes like the Cherokee and the Apache. We're going down the Rocky Mountains and the national parks and the California Gold Rush. And so those are just some of the themes that are major themes that we've been studying, preparing for this trip. And then we're going to be engaging and interacting with the material on the trip. And then when we get home, we hope to follow up on things that are fascinating to us, things that we just really enjoyed learning about, that we want to know more about. And so really, this doesn't just last 5 or 6 weeks for us when we're on a big trip. This actually lasts months. So think of all the content and the curriculum you can expose your children to, right? When you take a trip, whether it's, again, 5 minutes down the road or 500 miles from home, doesn't matter. When you expose your children to these topics, it's engaging and interesting because they have context and they have a relationship with the location that they've gone, with the material that they're interacting with. And so that is what's beautiful about traveling or going outside the four walls of your home to learn and to be educating your children. You get outside of the box of the four walls and you encounter real life and nature and what God has created and real people and real scenarios and real environments that then mean something. If you would like a step-by-step guide to turn your destination into education, then make sure to check out this video, where I dive deeper into how children best learn and help you think through designing a wonderful, customized experience for your family using the provided free downloadable template. And many of the resources that I share today can be found in the description of this video. Little Road Schoolhouse is part of the Amazon affiliate program, and we value your support as we create more content that's helpful like this.